Hello and welcome back to the Team Bulletproof channel. I'm BP Brad and I'm going to be going through Season 1 Rogue tier list with you guys. But before we jump into it, I just want to announce that we hit 200 subs here on the Bulletproof channel, and that means I'm going to be giving away £100. Yes, £100 PayPal. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, make sure you've got a PayPal account, and yeah, that is it. I'll announce the winner at the end of March, but leave a comment down below and I'll select a random comment on this video for £100 PayPal. So stay tuned for that, and let's jump into the rankings. The rankings. So we're going to be rating each one of these rogues, whether they're godly, above average, average, below average, or needs a buff. And let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these down below, and I should timestamp your favourite characters down below. So if you want to just hear what I say about your favourite character, you can skip to those timestamps. So Anvil, then let's jump into it. So he kind of has a shotgun and an LMG. He's currently one of the only characters that has an LMG in the game at the moment. His ability is the barricade, which is used to block off like areas or hide behind and use as cover. Situationally, it can be really good, so it can be used to defuse bombs or plant bombs or various things like that. His immunity is to gain immunity from blind disorients and blind effects. Jumping into his loadout, then he's very useful because he's got C4s and trophy systems which absorb incoming explosive damage. And then the perks to go for if you are using Anvil is headstrong or tenacity. So overall, he's a pretty balanced rogue, I would say, which makes him average. So we're going to place him in the average tier. Moving on then to Shaq. So Shaq has the rage ability, which is the ability to overheal yourself for a duration of time or revive yourself while downed. His passive is grit, which basically allows you to roll. It can be good. You can just kind of like roll into like cover and get yourself rezzed by a teammate, but it's unique but not that great. The rage is really what people were going to use Shaq for, and it's good if you're a beginner because it can give you that extra bit of health to win your gunfights, and also it can give you an extra life if you're playing demolition or something. So it can be used very, very well. The thing that lets Shaq down, in my opinion, is his guns. I really don't like the D40C. It's kind of like an in-between SMG and assault rifle, and more often than not, you're going to be losing your 1v1 gunfights with this gun. I think the shotgun is where it's at, but personally, I don't run with a shotgun, so this is why for me, he's not a great rogue. His flashbang is super useful, and then his perks that you want to be going for probably are the life drain and replenish. You may want helping hand to revive your teammates faster, but as being a duelist, you're probably going to be the one that's initiating gunfights, etc. So, we forgot to place him, but overall, I would actually say that Shaq is an average rogue. Moving into Dahlia then. So, Dahlia's got danger close, which allows you to link to an ally for a round, and then can be revived by reactivating this ability within 30 meters. So a lot of people don't actually link to a buddy. They will wait until someone goes down and then reses them, and I'm not sure if that was the intended use, but that's why a lot of people run Dahlia and not Saint in the competitive scene, because her res is safer, it doesn't send a drone, and it's instant. So when I say instant, it doesn't take time for a drone to fly over and then be shot or whatever. So Dahlia is very, very good. If we move on to her equipment, then she's got the SMG, which is probably one of the best SMGs in the game. The fire rate is absolutely insane and shreds if you hit all your shots. The MXR is kind of like the best weapon, I would say, in the game. It's super good for range and medium to close quarters. It just drops out big damage, so you kind of like, if you hit a headshot, it's 4-shot kill, 3-shot kill even. But yeah, super good. She has the smoke grenades, and then if you're running her, you kind of want tenacity and lifeline. They are the perks that you need to be getting. So Dahlia then, she is definite S tier. If she was to be nerfed, it'll probably be something like you have to link with a buddy in the plane, so you can't, you know, it sort of makes Lifeline more viable, or maybe reduce the like the range of 30 meters to like 50 meters, so you have to play close to someone, you know. But there you go, that is Dahlia. And then we've got Dallas. So his ability is the target finder, and he's recently had a buff, so reveals the closest enemy for a short duration. And then the passive is the ability to recharge the ability. So he's his guns are the HRM 30KS, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of. The fire rate is super slow. So yep. The devotion is really where you're at. I think it's like a 71 hit for a headshot, so it can be a 2-shot kill, which makes a gun super powerful. He has the EMP grenade and incendiary grenade. Incendiary grenades are super useful on this game. If you're running Dallas, you could probably want the headstrong perk and maybe the replenish perk. And that is it for Dallas. I think he is probably a below average rogue. I think people having tracker rounds on their sort of weapons kind of negates the need for target finder, if I'm being honest. And with the new rogue coming out, we'll have to see if that moves Dallas further down the pecking order. We've got Demon next. So he's got an MIV launcher, which basically launches like, it's kind of like a grenade launcher, right? He launches like 3 grenades and they disperse on your enemy and they blow up. So the radius has been buffed for that. And then Burned is his passive, where damaging an enemy with an explosive will reveal them to your team. His kit then, he has the KA-30, which is one of the most well-balanced, versatile assault rifles, in my opinion, in the game. So that's a super good weapon. And then we've got the Mamba, which is hard to control, but if you can control it, it's a super sick weapon. His utility is the EMP and the grenade. And if you're running with Dima, you probably want the life drain perk and the replenish perk. Some people might go for like the bounce back, but you know, they're the 2 perks you really want with Dima. So where does Dima place? We will put him in the average category. Moving on to Glitch. So he has the ability to hack nearby players, so you can kind of pull out your gadget, and if they're within the range, you can sort of see how many people are in that range. So that's kind of been like a side thing that people were using it for, or you can hack them to negate their abilities, which is good if you know you want to hack, let's say Dahlia, or you know, anyone's ability really. Downside to it is it does take a little bit of time, and the intuition passive detects nearby enemy equipment even through walls, so you can make call out to your teams. For Glitch then, so we've got the shotgun, which I said previously, I personally don't really use shotguns, but it is a good shotgun. But this SMG is where it's at if you're playing Glitch. It is a unique SMG to Glitch, and it is pretty good. Not the best, but it is probably top 3, I would say. His equipment then is the flashbang and Semtex. And again, if you're using Glitch, you kind of want tenacity and headstrong. So where does Glitch place? He's probably needing a nerf still. He needs a lot more love. I think the hack ability needs to be a bit more instant or something. That's something that they can work on to get him a bit more utilized. Or maybe change up the shotgun to something a bit more useful. So then we got new rogue Kestrel. So she has halo drones, which kind of shoots out like some drones, if you like, to a certain area, which is pretty good. And Legends contract is gain an extra £1,000 cash per down, which when linked with Dahlia can be super useful. So you can, if you're playing with a Kestrel and a Dahlia, it means that Dahlia can get a lifeline perk sooner, which could be really, really useful. Going on to her kit, the Riptide is probably one of the best ARs in the game right now. It definitely needs a nerf. It needs like a slower reload time or something, but it is just absolutely insane. The Knight is less to sing about right now. It is kind of like a nothing SMG. I'd probably rate it one of the worst SMGs in the game, and it does need a bit of love, but definitely, if you're running Kestrel or planning to run Kestrel, you want the Riptide. She has the adrenaline shot, which gives you a boost of HP and increased movement speed for a second. And then the bounce back grenade, which is totally unique to Kestrel. So it doesn't actually detonate until it hits something. So you can bounce it off a wall. That will then start the timer and then detonate basically. For perks then, this is a unique perk to Kestrel, so she's able to resupply items. So when you kill someone, they actually drop like a little blue box, and you can go and loot that box and it will give you something. And you probably want helping hand, maybe replenish with Kestrel too. So where would she place? I would actually place her in the above average category right now, just because I think the Legends contract is a little bit broken. I think if that was fixed, I'd probably move her down to average. She's pretty well balanced other than that. But yeah, I will probably place her in the above average right now. So Lancer then, super fun to play. She basically has silent footsteps when her abilities activated, and gives her a temporarily boost of speed, which makes her super fun for flanking and things like that. And then her passive is basically when you dodge roll, it reloads your current weapon. Moving on to her kit then, she has a pretty average shotgun in the striker and a unique weapon to her, which is the 2-4S. It is pretty average, but that kind of what keeps Lancer balanced in my opinion. She has a smoke grenade and Semtex. And if you're playing Lancer, you definitely want the life drain perk and the ability to carry more ammunition, because that gun just absolutely runs out of bullets so quickly, right? But overall, Lancer is a very, very fun rogue to play. If you're someone that likes flanking and stuff, you'll definitely want to unlock and play with Lancer. And she is definitely above average rogue. Moving on to Phantom then. So Phantom has just had a recent buff. So she has the nano smoke, which is kind of like the only counter to Fixer right now. And she has a Grievous Wounds passive, which delays their health generation. She's just lost the Aaron gun, and that's been replaced with the Nightshade, which is that guns of Vi, which may change the balance of actually using a Phantom on your team. And then we have the Sniper, which is super good. It's 70 damage for a body shot and 125 for a headshot, I believe. If I'm wrong, I think it could be 140 actually, but nonetheless, it's a very good weapon. A utility then is a grenade and a sticky sensor, and that sticks to a surface and reveals enemies. And she's the only rogue currently with this gadget. If you're playing with her, you probably will want tracker rounds, maybe life. It just depends how you're playing her, but you probably do want life drain. Maybe if you're using the Nightshade and playing a bit more aggressive, you want to pick up the life drain. But tracker rounds to let them know to your team. But overall, she probably still needs a bit more love. I would probably say she's an average rogue, but the addition of the Nightshade is very well welcomed. Ronin then, she has the ballistic knife. It recently been buffed so that it does more damage for a direct hit, so you can throw the ballistic knife where you think people may pass by, and it will blow up and drop them to the floor 9 times out of 10 unless they've got tenacity. And then, or you can throw it directly at them and that will drop them to the floor. And then passive is to avoid detection on enemy radar. So she also has the KA-30 light dimmer, which again I think is one of the most versatile ARs in the game. I think the only AR that's currently better than that is the Riptide of Kestrel's. You've got the SLC, which is a average kind of SMG. It is good. It's definitely better than Kestrel's Knight. But yeah, it's not the best, but it is still a good SMG. I'd probably rank it after Lancers or before Lancers 2-4S, but it is still balanced. She has a smoke grenade and a grenade, and then if you're playing Ronin, you definitely want to pick up the tenacity perk and the tracker rounds and the replenish. They're probably the most useful, but overall Ronin has been a very well balanced rogue, and I'm going to place her in the above average. Moving on to Saint, so he's recently had a buff where they've actually removed the MLX Mark IV's scope, and they've replaced the Claymores with a C4. So his ability is to send out a drone and it will heal an enemy anywhere on the battlefield. The downside to that is that if an enemy is nearby, they can shoot the drone and that will stop the res. And his passive is reviving a teammate heals both of you for a significant amount. Moving on to his kit then, out of the two, my personal pick of the two is the Mark IV. I think it's super good, especially when it's up to tier 3. For some reason I really like it with the silencer on. His gadgets then are the smoke grenade and C4. And then again for this you definitely want the helping hand, which I think reduces healing teammates from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, and the headstrong. Overall Saint has had a buff. I think that's still, I'll be honest, I still think he's a little bit underwhelming. I don't know what they can do to buff him further, but he's still an average rogue right now, which makes him well balanced, I guess. So we're going to place him in the average. Then we've got Scorch. So she has overheat, which basically increases the damage from her SLC as it is accompanied by fire, which is super sick. And when you're a 1v1v Scorch, when she's activated overheat, you're probably going to lose if they've got a pretty decent shot. And her passive is immune to fire. So if you jump into there, you're probably going to run the SLC, although some Scorches do run the Arbitrator. It is a good shotgun. Me, personally, I stay away from shotguns, but you're probably going to run this SMG. She has an incendiary grenade and an EMP grenade, and if you are running Scorch, you definitely want tenacity and headstrong. So where does that place her on our tier list? I think she is still an average rogue, so we're going to put her in average. Sigrid. So she was the new rogue, the latest rogue that was released before Kestrel, and she has a ballistic shield. So the shield was kind of sold to us that you'll be able to revive teammates behind it, plant bombs behind it, and in all reality, whilst that's a good thing, I don't think she's really been utilised that way. Her passive is immune to slowing effects and move faster while crouched. I think the thing that makes Sigrid so underwhelming is she has this D40C gun. It's kind of like a good for nothing gun. It's not good at long range. It's kind of weak against other guns at close range. So this is kind of what Kestrel down. She does have the adrenaline shot and Semtex, as well as if you're going to pick up grenades, you definitely want lifeline and tenacity. As I said before, lifeline reduces the amount of time it takes to revive teammates. So everything considered, I think Sigrid probably does need a buff, but I'm not going to go as far and say she is in that category. I think she is just below average. We're nearly there, guys. So we've got Talon next. So Talon has the radar dart, which attaches to surfaces and detects enemies. So if you're going to one bomb site and you want to radar dart the other bomb site, or just a flank or whatever, that's super clutch. And then his passive is the mag gloves, which enables you to pick up and reclaim items from range. Going into his loadout, he has the LMP-X and the D3DI. Both guns are pretty good. I actually, when I play Talon, I actually do use the SMG. I think the SMG is super sick. He has the C4 and the flashbang. Like I said, the flashbang in this game, when used properly, are really useful, especially for attacking, which makes him a bit more viable. And then you kind of want tenacity, which is the theme here, guys. Any rogue that's got tenacity, you definitely want to be utilising it. And life drain. So where does Talon place? You probably want to know. Well, in my opinion, I think he's an average rogue. He's fairly well balanced, but yep, he probably does. Yeah, just average. He's just average, which is a good thing, right, guys? Because you don't want everyone being too OP. And I think the theme here is that a lot of rogues are well balanced. Moving into the Fixer. So he has thermal vision, which while activated, you can see heat signatures for a duration through his smoke, and his passive is damaging an enemy with a firearm will show them for a duration. So Fixer's probably had the most nerfs in the game, but still he is super good. So the TYR is kind of like a Barrett 50 cal. You get 2 bullets, and if you hit them, they are dead basically. Super sick. The warrant is a really good pistol as well. It's probably one of the best after the executioner in my opinion. You get the cluster smoke, which is unique to him. There's kind of like 3 tiers of smoke. The C4, and if you're running Fixer, you definitely want headstrong. You definitely want helping hand, maybe, as you'll be playing a bit further back, so the likelihood of you rezzing teammates is higher, and probably life drain. Although life drain's not that effective, what you definitely want to be doing is upgrading your gun the full way, and that's for sure. So Fixer is still broken. He is definitely S tier, needs another nerf. I'm not sure what they can do to him. Maybe remove his free smokes and just give him a normal smoke, and so he has to buy the... I don't really know, guys, right? What do you guys think? But he definitely needs a nerf. I don't know what they can do to him, but yeah, nerf is definitely required. So 2 left. Trench. So he has barbed wire on the floor that slows enemies as his ability, and his passive is to carry an additional gadget, which makes him a top defender. And if we jump into his stuff here, we have the HRM 30KS. My opinion, terrible gun. Some of you guys might like it. I'm not very good with it. I despise it. So where you want to be is the MXR, which, like I said, is one of the best guns in the game. His pistol is the Executioner. He has tear gas grenade and a trophy system, just like Anvil, so he's able to negate stuff coming in, which makes him a good defender. For Trench, you definitely want to be picking up headstrong and tracker rounds. Helping hand is always good, especially if you're defending, right? Helping hands is a good good perk to have anyway. So where does he rank? I'd probably say he's above average. Yep, I'm going to put him in above average. I think his recent buff, although the barbed wire's got smaller, I still think he's one of the best defending rogues on the game. So we're going to put him there. And then last but not least, Vi. So she's the poison toxic character. So she creates a cluster of poison pools that you may have, if you already play, you know what they are. And her passive is reducing the maximum health of enemies gradually, and that increases yours up to an extra 25, so you can have 125 HP, assuming they stay on the vile pools. So what does she have? She has a Nightshade, which is a really good balanced gun, actually. I really like this. After the KA-30 and the Riptide, I would actually say this is probably the 3rd best. Some people might say Mamba. I don't really like the Mamba. I really like this gun, so there you are. She has tear gas grenade and incendiary grenade, as well as like toxic pools or Vi pools or whatever people want to call them. So she is super useful for defending. On top of that, she also has tenacity, which reduces the amount of explosive damage, and she has replenish and tracker rounds. I'd probably go for tenacity, tracker rounds. They're probably the most useful for Vi, but you do want to upgrade her utility before anything else. So I would actually say she's above average. Some people might put her in like S tier and she needs a nerf. I personally think she's quite balanced. I think if they were going to nerf her in any way, maybe take away the tear gas, which is like an extra utility, and maybe replace it with smokes or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? And that is it for our tier review. So we've kind of gone with Dahlia and Fixer that kind of need nerfs. We think that Glitch needs a buff. And besides that, we've got most of our rogues that are in average tier. So don't forget, guys, if you want to win £100 PayPal, I don't know what that is in dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, whatever, you can do homework on that, but make sure you sub to the channel. We upload almost daily rogue content. There will be future giveaways in the future, but for now, it's your boy BP Brad, and peace. Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm a exit draw. Yeah, give me that claim as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, silly on block, Bambi. Baby's yellow text.